Hey guys, so Lord here, back again with another review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Mattel Masters of the Universe Origins Horde Trooper. Now before we get into it here, let's first take a look-see at both the front and the back of the packaging. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now before we get into the meat and taters of this review, the Horde Trooper comes with the same mini comic as Clawful, who we took a look at the other day. Please check that out if you haven't already. But again, if you want to know how much of a Mary Sue the old Sunman is with his magic skin, you can get your own or take a look at it for yourself, because chances are you guys already have this figure. On the back you get the cross-sell with the other characters in the wave, like Sunman, we just mentioned a second ago, Clawful, who we took a look at the other day, and then the Anti-Eternia He-Man, and of course the Horde Trooper's on there too, as well as the elusive Vintage Head He-Man and Skeletor, which again only seem to be available on Amazon. Very interesting. But on top of all that, the Horde Trooper does also come with his Horde staff, spear. I'm going to call it a staff because it doesn't really look like a spear to me. And do these guys come with shields originally too? Or was it just the staff? For whatever reason, I was expecting a blaster and a shield, but could be getting confused with the MOTU Classic version. You know, the version everyone likes. It probably falls down most of the time. Just saying. But getting it in his hand's not difficult. It's just getting it to stay in his hand is quite a challenge, because I get what they're going for with this line with the whole thumbs up grip hand pose. I'll put my hand behind it so you can see it there. You can see his thumb is doing the thumbs up there. I think, given the fact that these weapons have a tendency to fall out really easily, and most of them don't have the little grip on the outside like the vintage line, this thumb thing needs to go. That needs to be bent down and curled around so it actually grips onto the weapon. If this thumb was in front of the staff, it wouldn't fall out nearly as much. You know what I'm saying? So take that for what it's worth. I'm sure somebody's going to give me crap for that in the comments, but at the end of the day, this is my video, and if there's a problem with something, I'm going to talk about it. So with that being said, there is one other feature to this figure, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Starting off, I really like the silver on this guy. I think that's a step up from the dull gray plastic of the original, which no, I don't have, unlike Clawful. But that said, I've never seen one in person, so I can only assume he's not a cheap figure. He's probably one of them $50 figures, right? Hopefully he's not like Scareglow, because then I'm really not going to have one. But at the end of the day, I prefer this silver to the original dull gray. I think it looks a lot nicer. It gives it a premium finish. Makes it look more like a collectible than just a kid's toy. That said, it is a really nice kid's toy, and if it weren't for my nostalgic love for Clawful and how dumbfounded he is in 2000X, this guy could be the best Origins figure of the year. Well, that it would help if he could hold his damn accessory worth of crap. That said, as far as articulation on this guy goes, he's got the double ball peg in the head that can look all around. And due to his gimmick, he almost has a bit of an ab crunch, an internal ab crunch, but you can't really get much out of it. Shoulders go out to the side, perfect T-pose, which is the case with a lot of these. It could swivel forward and back a little bit, hindered by the shoulder armor, but that's okay. He's got the Horde band looking bits on his biceps there, which is cool. He's got swivel in the elbow with a hinge, works pretty well. He's got a swivel in the wrist with a hinge, with the wrong hinge, might I add, but I'm going to bitch about that till the cows come home, I guess. He's got a waist swivel, T-jointed hips, which kick forward, back a little bit, out to the side. I gotta tell you, most of these Origins figures that are, what, 15, 20 bucks, get better hip range than most Spider-Man figures in my collection. And I have a ton of Spider-Man. If you guys know me, you know I love the web head. And the fact that this cheap figure really made for kids, but mostly adults buy. The fact he gets better hip range than that is kind of both hilarious and impressive at the same time. Then he's got a swivel in the knee. Nice tight knee swivels on this guy too, relatively speaking. He's got a single joint in the knee. He can get 90 degrees. I think he's got the best knee joints in the game because you can straighten them all the way out and then hinge them all the way back. So that's nice. He's got a boot swivel. Nice and tight on both sides. He's got a single hinge in the ankle. Again, why do I keep saying that? They're all going to have single hinges in the ankles, Overlord. What the hell? Again, as I said in the Clawful video, I've said that in tons of videos. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm used to double jointed knees and then, oh, it's a single joint in the foot. I don't know, man. It's just a weird phenomena, I guess. Phenomena. Alright. Either way. He's got an ankle rocker and then peg holes at the bottom of the feet. For the stand he does not come with, but I think these guys, like the Masterverse figures, work with the McFarlane stands. I don't have one handy to try it out, but I do believe they work with those. So, with that being said, I really like this guy. Is he perfect? No. And speaking of not perfect, I almost forgot something. His gimmick. He's got this little button here. If you push it, he should explode, but there we go. Like a so. So now his guts and internal organs are exposed. Oh no! And he does get a little bit of an ab crunch in there, so bonus points for hidden articulation. But very fun figure, man. Much like the Cobra Bat from G.I. Joe Classified, which I also took a look at quite some time ago now for my 10-year anniversary week-long marathon extravaganza, no less. Giving him the staff back. Really fun figure. I like him a lot. Not sure if I'll army build him. Maybe I'll get a second one, but I'm definitely not going to be like that asshole on Facebook and get 50 to 100 of these. I think that's overkill. Overkill, not overkill. What the hell? Going back to my 10-year anniversary week-long marathon extravaganza. I did a video on that figure too. But I don't think I'm going to army build like some of you crazy people out there. Again, I think that's overkill. Like the band, not the Spawn villain. And y'all should probably see a doctor about that, because that's a problem for me. First and foremost, it kills the fun for the rest of us. Makes life more difficult than it needs to be. And it makes you look like a jerk face. So with that being said, chef don't judge, but at the same time, we're going to judge a little bit, because that's bonkers. That's crazy to me. But with that being said, let's now move on and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here is the Horde Trooper next to the only other members of the evil Horde we poor people have from the MOTU Origins line thus far, the Deluxe Mosquitor and Deluxe Buzzsaw Hordak. Because of my two Hordaks, he's the one with the tighter legs. Not going to get into that. But with that being said, I do know that I am missing the Blackface Grizzlor from the Horde 4-pack, which was a PowerCon exclusive, but at the end of the day, you had to be filthy stinking rich to afford that, so it is what it is. But with that being said, something interesting to note, considering the fact that the Horde Trooper is standing straight up, and as far as I know, was a bit of a taller figure from the vintage line, it's kind of interesting to see him a little bit shorter than characters utilizing the traditional MOTU style buck, like both Mosquitor and Hordak here. Makes me curious how characters like Dragstore, Blade, or Sorad will stack up, considering they too did not utilize the traditional style MOTU buck. So only time will tell, I guess. And last but certainly not least, we have our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulus, Limited Spawn as usual, towers over everyone. So with that being said, time to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and even though this guy doesn't hold his Horde staff all that well, and his gimmick can get stuck from time to time, this is still a really solid addition to the MOTU Origins line, because who doesn't love Horde Troopers, right? Granted, some of you like them a little bit too much, but at the end of the day, a fun army builder is a fun army builder, and this guy is no exception to that rule. You can swap his head out with literally anyone's to give your Horde army a little bit more variety. You know, spruce it up a bit. Or you could just leave them stock and they still look really, really cool. So, with that being said, if I was to say anything about this figure, maybe grab a few, grab a couple, but don't be that guy on Facebook and grab 50 to 100 of them, because you kind of look like a jackass to everyone else. So, with that being said, if you haven't added this guy to your MOTU Origins collection yet, I would highly suggest you do so as soon as possible, because I can see this thing skyrocketing on the secondary market after the stocks have plummeted, which, given the fact that there are those assholes on Facebook buying 50 to 100 of these, that's probably going to happen sooner than you think. So get on it before he is super duper expensive on the secondary market. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you're so inclined, please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know whenever I upload more reviews like this one. If you haven't already, please hit me up on Instagram at Overlord Productions. But as always, keep your comments civil. The world sucks enough as it is, especially when, again, there are those assholes on Facebook who have to have 50 to 100 of these. Save some for the rest of us, will ya? Jeez, man. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.